Empowered Teacher, standards-based grading with the focus on assignments with standards. This is two parts. The first part will be how you associate standards to an assignment, while the second part will deal with how to enter those standard scores. To associate standards to an assignment, it helps provide an easy way then for teachers to keep track of each student's progress on those standards. So as a teacher, you would select which standards were being assessed and assign them to that checkpoint. Then when you enter the student scores for those standards at that checkpoint, the gradebook will automatically calculate the standard's final grade. So let's see how we associate standards to an assignment. So I'm going to open up our gradebook. You always want to check, verify that you're in the correct year and term. And so we can see we're in the correct year and term up here in the top corner. And we want to pick a class from our class pane, and we can look at our score sheets. So I'm going to say we did a writing in language class on the planets, and we did some informational writing for this week project, and we all agreed in our PLC. So I click on the plus sign, if you notice, it's right up here, to add that new assignment. It appears in the pane beneath. I can label it as a checkpoint. You do not have, this is our first checkpoint we did for this gradebook. And we agreed in our PLC that we're all going to do the same project. Score types, points possible, weight, those are all traditional grades. You do not need to worry about that. Dates really aren't that specific, except it has to be in the correct term. So we did this the week of October 8th, this project, this paper. Here is a description where you can write a brief summary of what the project was at, or what you're working, and what standards were measured. And you can just type something in there really quickly. But the key to associate a standard to an assignment or a checkpoint is to go to the standard, and if you can't read the standards, you can make this window bigger and smaller for those identifiers, is select what standards you're assessing. And so this was an informational piece, and you see right here we have a project right there, so I'm going to pick that particular thing. And we also did some language mechanics, so I'm going to scroll down. This was the speaking and listening standards. The next grade tab is the language standards, and I'm going to say we were doing capitalization. So I picked those two. I can associate more than that if I want. I hit save, and I'll close my window. If you notice here, my standard comes up with the color of the category with my standards drawer. The two standards I'd picked: writing informational, demonstrating capitalization. Now let's say we were going to measure something else. That, you know what, I would like to also measure how well they did adjectives. I can just simply double click and associate another standard with this. Oh, I'm right spot here using adjectives and adverbs. We're focusing on that. You notice it has an asterisk. It will not show up in the report card, but that doesn't mean you do not have to measure it. It's something we should be teaching. So I hit save. I'll close the window. I open my standards drawer. I now have three. Again, informational writing, my adverbs, and my capitalization and punctuation. So that's how it is to add and associate standards to an assignment. Very straightforward. The next part is going to deal on how to enter the standard scores into the correct spot. So I'm going to open the gradebook again, and I make sure that standard's closed. Maybe I can't, doing some other classes, I entered some scores there. I come back to language. I open my standard score. We do not enter scores here. This is traditional. You have to open your standard scores, because here you can see our rubric scores we put in here. What you normally can do is have you fill in students that you know how well they scored on certain papers. This is our first trimester. We still have some students who are having trouble with this. We still have some at the beginning. We have some advanced ones here. And we have a 1.5 here, and everyone else had a 1. See how quick I fill those scores. This one is still struggling. Still struggling. This one is doing better. 1, 1. Adjectives, quick fill. We're all still at 1s. I should have just did that. Capitalization. This one had a 1. They really did a good job. These are already second graders, so a lot of these people are doing very well. I can quick fill everyone with a 1.5. And that's Save. Now one thing we can do that makes it nice is, you know, we have scores in here, is I can actually put a little check that they're done. And I just hit a period and return. And the reason I do this is if there was someone who did not complete it, I would leave it blank, like this example. Then I'd know I'd have to come back and collect the paper for that if there was a score for there. So then when I close up my drawer, you can see, oops, didn't do something here, but this one did have them all done, so I'll put a period in there and I'll save that. And so that's how you would enter your standards scores instead of a traditional scores.